And so please describe to me what the aesthetic look is exactly.
Well, like this guy here.
Yeah. So we'll go ahead and bring
Oh wow, you really have to come in here?
like this guy.
Is this
No,
is this really happening? He met the other guy behind you, bro. Like I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm right into that bad boy.
You can stay right there, behind the camera, behind the camera. No, see now that you got me jealous now.
That's okay.
That's not
no,
fair.
but you're more in the category like Wilfred Reckner, Arnold, okay?
My man. Yeah. Arnold Ferrigno. Huh?
Okay.
Aesthetic. That's great, partner. You two ever go out place everything in its proper place?
That does not make sense, but we usually do go. We head to Kroger's, and we work.
Oh, yeah. I've got a lady waiting for me back home also. She has the most beautiful scrotum. Oh, God. And when she sings, she sounds just like a puppy dog. How do you nail a photo?
Just gotta get in the mode. You gotta talk with your eyes.
Talk with your eyes.
Talk with your eyes. You
Okay,
gotta
so
have the eyes
can you show me a little bit of something, like to this camera? I would love to know how to do this. I just want to know.
Well,
How
I
do you do it?
mean,
Teach
the
me
smile,
something.
You can get the sexy eyes. Then you know you gotta get the smile going on some shoes, but you know.
Wait, hold up.
You got.
I gotta
when
try
it's
this
time,
with
when,
you.
when it's
Hold
time
on.
to laugh,
I gotta try this
you gotta
with
think
you.
of something funny and start laughing.
Do it again. Do it again. How do you do it? Teach me.
Sexy eyes.
The sexy eye.
Just a sexy eye right here.
Smizing?
Smile.
So you're smizing.
Smile.
Okay.
And then you gotta get the.
No, I look like I need to take a poop or something.
wish words were like little toy guns. No sting, no hurt, no one, just a bang, bang. Right?
Is that it?
Yeah, it's something like that. Just a bang,
Toy
bang,
guns.
rolling off your tongue.
Toy guns.
It's no smoke, no
Bang, bang.
bullets.
Water guns. All right.
Pascal, you are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high, cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold up, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up. Weekdays, catch us live, somebody. Let's go.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Pascal Show. What's up, everybody? I hope you guys are doing well out there in all the platform lands. You know what I'm saying? I hope your evening is treating you very well. You know, today was a very nice one for me today. It was a busy one. You know, the thing is one thing that really drives me nuts more than anything in the world is the aftermath of the morning show. It's when everything is all said and done, especially when we have such a heavy day of just nothing but crazy, bad news, racism, ignorance, the whole nine. You know, it could be really tough to jump back from that and try to find things that'll make you smile and things that'll make you happy. You know, so you know. Today, this morning's show, I want to say first off, a big thank you to everybody who came on and, commented, checked out the show, liked, argued, the whole nine, because without you guys, we wouldn't have that morning show at all. Angel, hello, good evening. What's up? What's up, Angel Gill? Thank you so much for commenting on YouTube. I really appreciate that. And, James, what's up, man? Good evening, my brother. Hope you're doing well as well. And yes, Ashton's favorite comments on this whenever he chats below is everything about race cars, all about NASCAR. Somebody has a full-on obsession with their NASCAR and all that. But anyway, there is some things that we're going to be talking about today this evening, because one, there was a few things I didn't get to talk about on the show today because today was just so chock full with so many different things. And I felt like there was only a certain amount of racism I could take for one show, especially with this show. Earlier, today's show was so heavy with all kinds of stuff that had everything to do with racism. So yeah, I kind of needed a little bit of a break, from that. And instead of just going after another, I just needed a little bit of time to just kind of relax, think, and collect myself. Donald, what's up, man? Good evening. What am I saying? Good evening. I'm hoping you're having a very fantastic one today. We got some stuff that we're going to be talking about today. There's a lot of things to talk about this evening. A lot of things have happened while we were on our show this morning. That's the one thing that drives me nuts about the news, is that it never ends and it never sleeps. And the one thing that is crazy is that as soon as we get done with our show, something else is off and popping. Something else is just trending like a mug. You feels me? So, of course, when I get off the show and I open up my phone, all of a sudden I see all these crazy new tweets and new updates and all these things that are just going crazy on Google's and all that. And so, yeah, we're going to be talking about a few things, of course. Obviously, if you don't see it above me on the titles, there's a bunch of things that we're going to be tapping on here very, very shortly. I'm going to be going in not in order, because I know that there's like the top news thing or the top first thing and then the next thing and then the next thing. But for right now, I need to go right into the whole thing about the Minneapolis police brutality that we all have heard and talked about and seen this morning. Obviously, this is something that has been trending really, really hard. It's unfortunate when you have something that's trending on Facebook, Twitter, the whole nine, and it's something so terrible, so inhumane, so crass. First things first, obviously, if you don't already know, there was 4 Minnesota police officers were literally, detaining a suspect or a man. His name is George Floyd. They were responding to. I guess he had some charges in regards to forgery. They were, trying to detain George Floyd. There was a little bit of a scuffle. He resisted a little bit, but when they finally got him submitted, which is where he was on face first on the ground, stomach and chest on the ground, completely immobile. One of the police officers decided to basically put his knee on his neck. And it made him very, very hard. It made it very, very hard for him to breathe. And so now there's some new information in regards to the 4 police officers. And this is some good news. I'm taking this as good news. I see Mr. T12 just said negative news owns the headlines. Unfortunately, these are the things that are going on right now. And there are some other good news as well. But this is some good news as well. So the 4 Minnesota police officers were fired after the death of George Floyd. Obviously, as you already know, the man that was pinned down in the viral video that we've all seen. So the Federal Bureau of Investigation will probe the death of a black man who died shortly after being apprehended by police in Minneapolis, Minnesota. After disturbing video emerged on social media showing a police officer with his knee on the man's neck as the man repeatedly yells, "I can't breathe." And by the way, the man's name is George Floyd. I hate when they say like man and they don't make it personal and they don't say the man's name. The man's name is George Floyd. Let's just keep it straight funky. The Minneapolis Police Department announced Tuesday morning that the FBI will be a part of the investigation into the death. Minneapolis police chief said Tuesday morning that the officers involved in the incident have been placed on paid leave. And he pleaded the department's full cooperation with any investigations. Later Tuesday, the mayor of Minneapolis tweeted that all 4 responding officers involved in the incident have been terminated. Now, I got to say this. I'm very, very happy that they are fired. It is a very, very good beginning to hopefully a very rough path for those 4 officers. Now, the video that I've seen, the video that we showed this morning was only one perspective. Now, there's a lot of other videos and Snapchat photos and all that. They're circulating all over social media right now. And let's keep it straight funky, y'all. They had, if you see the other angle, if you see behind the squad car, the squad SUV, you see that there are 3 men that are on top of George Floyd working to detain and obviously arrest George Floyd. But what's crazy is that the man that's kneeling on his neck did not even need to do that. You got 3 grown-ass men sitting on top of a man who's face down with his hands behind his back. What he gonna do? He is not Superman. He's not gonna take off. He's not gonna lift off the ground and then go off into space. You know what I'm saying? So, when you see the other side, when you see the other perspective, it is mind-blowing, bruh. It is absolutely mind-blowing. And that is some good news right here. One thing is that, yes, they've been terminated. They were on paid leave at first. Then I'm hoping that the mayor jumped in. I'm sure that a higher pay grade walked in and said, "Oh no, we ain't going like that." Because I remember in the video that I just did this morning, I said I have a feeling that the department is going to find every excuse under the sun to try to get him out of the situation, or get those police officers out of the situation. Do a quote unquote, which I thought right when I read this, a paid leave like they always do. So I'm actually very, very happy that the 4 officers that were a part of that situation are right now fired. Their job is terminated. That whole situation with him is ridiculous. And I really do hope that they see the full extent of the law very, very soon. So that's some good news for you. Let's see. I'm going to read some of these comments here real quick. Mr. T12 said, good start. We need charges, a conviction, and proper sentencing. I completely and totally 110% agree with you, Mr. T12. That's what we need more than anything in the world. Hi, Jalen. How you doing, sweetheart? Let's see. Mr. T12 said, yet the outrage squad wanted to assassinate Kaepernick for peacefully kneeling against police brutality. Then the police show him up by killing with a knee. The irony. Isn't that funny? And I've been seeing a lot of the memes that are going around and all that with the man who's taking the knee, and then you got Kaepernick right next to him, the officer, and then the Kaepernick. And I'm sitting there going like, yeah, they were all up in arms about Kaepernick taking a knee, bringing awareness to police brutality, and then police brutality is done, and a man loses his life because an officer took a knee on his neck. That's ridiculous, man. Ridiculous. Jalen, this one has me really angry. Yeah. And, that's the thing, Jalen, and everyone. This is the thing. We are now here where we shouldn't be dealing with this kind of stuff. We shouldn't be dealing with this. Should not be happening, guys. Period. At all. And unfortunately, this is something that keeps growing and growing and growing, and it doesn't stop. And I'm hoping that and it's unfortunate that it has to be this situation to bring real awareness to the circumstances that we are in general, just being a black man driving in a car, or a black man just being arrested. Doesn't matter if the man is drunk or on drugs. He's not taking any drugs that's making him Superman, like I keep saying. Detain him. Put him in the squad car. Put him in the jail so he can be processed and be done with it. Quit doing more. And the fact that the video shows the man is sitting there kneeling on the guy. He's screaming, "I can't breathe." There are people around him saying, "Stop being an ass. Get off of his neck. What is wrong with you? What the hell is wrong with you?" And yet he still does nothing except dig even more into that lean out of spite, because everybody else who's watching is looking at him and going, "You're killing this man." Those kind of things do not need to be happening at all, ever, period. And I hope them getting fired, like I keep saying, is just the beginning. Please, oh God, please, please let these guys get the punishment that they actually deserve. Oh, Papa G, what's up, man? Hold up. Before I go in any more, Let me make sure I got this stuff going on. And if you're still watching Papa G's, please definitely comment down below, because I will call you I will call you on the Facebook if you are around. So anyway, otherwise, okay, so Jalen said, hold up, they've been charged and convicted. Really? Okay, I didn't know that. That's great news. That's also great news. So they've been charged and convicted. That's fantastic news. Yes. Woo! Thank you, baby. Thank you, baby Jesus. Yes, yes, yes. That's great. You know what I mean? Otherwise, they can go to work for another department. Yeah, that's actually very, very true. All creds need to be pulled permanently. That's actually, yes, I agree. This is in the top 3 abuse issues that I'm contacted by the most on an anti-abuse page. That's that's crazy. So let me call you, Greg. Give me 2 seconds, Greg, and I will be hitting you up here very, very shortly. And we can get things popping. And I'm going to be hitting you up through Facebook, brothers, so just a heads up. Let me read a few more of these things. Last year, I was at school, so a football player was at school, and they say that all black people, they say, are carrying a gun, and they were trying to kill all of us. That's very interesting. I'm sorry, I'm trying to edit this this comment. That's very interesting. Let's see. Economic boycott is the only protest that will grab attention. So a native queen, thank you so much for commenting on here and everything. And of course, I got to ask you, one, when you say economic boycott, what exactly do you mean by that? You know, I mean, I know what it means, but like, could you go into detail on what you mean by that? And, you know, in what ways in which can one productively and economically boycott something? So I'm just curious about that. Native Queen, please comment down below and let me know what you think. Anyway, we got to go into this next thing. I'm going to go into this next thing because on some real stuff, this is crazy. I just saw this. And like I said, this is something that I saw right after my show this morning. And I said, damn, I can't believe I missed this, and I can't believe I didn't get a chance to talk about it on the show, but we are going to talk about it today, or right now, because this is absolutely something that I never thought that I would be hearing something like this or talking about this right now. So we're going to talk about this really, really quick. Jimmy Fallon, the Tonight Show host, the man that we all love, you know, that we all know and love, all right, is now under fire. He's being slammed right now for an old SNL skit that he did where he wore blackface. There is a huge campaign on Twitter right now called Jimmy Fallon is Over Party, all over the fact that he was in blackface, imitating Chris Rock. Now, I do have some the footage, and of course, he did later on apologize about this. Like just recently, he just recently apologized about this ish. But first, before we go into his apology, because of course I got to find it and all that, I found the footage. It is not great footage. It's very grainy. It's very choppy. It's not great, but you will get the idea. It's him impersonating Chris Rock on SNL in blackface. Here it is, y'all. Roll that beautiful bean footage.
Man, oh man, read this book. I've seen Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and guess what? Not a lot of black folks on the show. Right. Not a lot of black folks on the show. You know why? Because black folks don't like to answer questions. Oh, they want to be millionaires, but you got to ask that kind of questions like, in 1981, how many grams of crack did Rick James smoke when he recorded Super Freak?
Okay, that's enough for me. That's all I can do. Real talk, I ain't gonna lie. Watching that kind of is upsetting. I personally cannot look at that and fully function with my own brain because, you know, it's Jimmy Fallon. Household name. Everybody loves his ass. And now he's doing blackface. Okay. All right, y'all. Here we go. There is a lot of comedy that has happened over the past few decades. And I'm not talking about the era of blackface. I'm talking about over the past, in the early 90s, early 2000s, there has been a lot of blackface, yellow face, brown face. I mean, there's been a lot when it comes to comedy. There's been a ton. Now, my thing is this. Okay. It is a very slippery slope with the whole thing because it's comedy. First off, it's comedy. Second, it's comedy. But third, I'm not okay with it. For me, I automatically go, okay, that is Jimmy Fallon in blackface. That is Jimmy Fallon imitating a known black comedian. That is Jimmy Fallon. That is a white guy imitating a black man. So for me, I don't automatically go, ha ha, that's really funny. Even if his imitation, his impersonation isn't half bad, I still am going, that's not funny. That ain't cool. So, but of course you can also throw it on the other side where you have comedians and comedic duos like Key and Peele that will do whiteface. You'll see Dave Chappelle's, old skits in Comedy Show, which was a brilliant show, but he'll be in whiteface. When you start playing the other hand, you start looking at the other side of the fence. Is it okay for other minorities, people of color? Is it okay for people of color to imitate white people? Or is it not? So I leave that question up to you guys because I'd like to know, what are your thoughts on this? Now, of course, Jimmy Fallon has gone out and apologized and all that. Said, of course, I'll look up the apology. But of course, it doesn't really matter. I mean, of course, he'll sit there and go, oh, gosh, what I did was so wrong. And at that time, I wasn't thinking, nah. So hate to be such a cynic, but let's keep it real. If he thought it was wrong, if he thought it was a terrible, off-color thing to do, he shouldn't have done it in the first damn place. That's what I think. Now, here's the other thing, though, too. There's also footage of Jimmy Kimmel in blackface as well. He impersonates Oprah. He impersonates basketball players, the whole nine. And yet, I'm waiting for those things to start surfacing and start getting him some backlash and getting him into some trouble. But it seems like for the black man, if you're a comedian and you're black, you have to wear a dress. But if you're white and you're a comedian, you have to be in some sort of brown face or black face. It's a very interesting world they live in. You know what I'm saying? So, personally, I don't think he should have been doing that, period. There's already been decades of that genre already done. And they should have just brought in a black actor to impersonate Chris Rock. Even if they couldn't find the dude, like if they said, our team, our team of comedians can't do, none of our black actors, none of our black comedians can do an impersonation of Chris Rock. But, Jimmy Fallon actually does a pretty good one. Let's make him do it. Now, if that was the case, go outside, step outside of that building and find somebody who's black that can impersonate Chris Rock or get Chris Rock and call it a damn day. So that's what I think about that. That one's really sad to me. You know, he shouldn't be doing that in the first place, but Alex says wouldn't be as interesting. That's the whole point. Well, I think it would be interesting because it's Chris Rock. And if it was Chris Rock playing Chris Rock in a skit, everybody and their mama would watch that. He used to be on SNL. So for him to reprise himself back on the show would be amazing. So it makes it interesting because there's shock value in there. But at the same time, I think that there's been decades, hundreds of years of white people in blackface. It's time to put it down. It's time to let it go. I don't care if you've had, I don't care if you do an amazing impersonation of Eddie Murphy and you're white. I don't care. Do it as yourself. Be white on camera impersonating Eddie Murphy, and that's it. Do the voice and be done with it. That's what I think. That's what I personally think. I'm going to read some more of these comments real quick. And actually, I'm going to call my boy, Papa G, as well, real quick to see if he's on. And we can get this bad boy moving. Anyway, we are calling him right now. But anyway, keep the comments going down below because I'd like to know what you guys think. It's important to know, where you guys stand. If you guys are not feeling this at all, then I understand that. You know what I mean? You are allowed to. That's the whole purpose. That's the whole point. There's going to be people on one side saying that's so offensive. And there's going to be people on the other side sitting there going, man, can you believe that can't be real? That ish can't be real, Or, you know what I'm saying? What I mean is some people are going to sit there and say, I can't believe that just happened. And some people are not going to care. Some people are not going to give a damn, And I'm kind of on the fence. One side of me is like, that's really messed up. And then another side of me is like, well, that was something that he did a long time ago. Why is it being brought up now? Why is it being brought up right now? Those are the questions. You know what I'm saying? Those are the questions that kind of come up in my mind, But at the same time, there's, like I said, all types of things that are going on that actors and comedians and, all types have done that are still under wraps that people don't even know about until they get pulled back up. After 20 some odd years, So that's something that is very interesting and very strange to me. But I think it's very important that we all, come to terms with it, talk about it, put it out there. If you are for him or if you're for him losing his job or against him losing his job, then, obviously that is up to you. So I leave the question up to you guys. What do you think? Do you think that this is something that should mean that he shouldn't have a career anymore? Or give him a pass, keep him moving so he can keep entertaining people and keeping people happy on The Tonight Show? Definitely comment down below. I got my brother, Greg Horta, Papa G in the house. What's up, man? How you doing?
Hey, how you doing?
Man, I'm good, man. You know what I mean? Just, staying alive, dealing with people in blackface and stuff. You know how it is.
I have to comment. Can you hear me clearly?
Oh,
I just want to make sure.
I can hear you clear as a bell.
Cool. So
yeah, man.
I was laughing because we talk about the blackface and then how black comedians have to dress up, in order to get that recognition. And I keep thinking of one of the best movies ever, one of my top 5, White Chicks.
Yeah. Still a really
a mixture of everything.
Yeah, and it's, I understand that there's the double standard. I understand that there's okay, so if black people can do it and do whiteface and do something like White Chicks, or can do something like Coming to America or something like that, then how is it not okay for white people to do blackface? And I just keep saying, well, there's been hundreds of years of television and comedy and variety shows and all that of white people donning the blackface. And I feel like I'm not sitting here saying, I don't know how to explain it. It's like, it's almost like saying the N-word in a way. You know, it's like, all right, you know, you're allowed to say this, you're allowed to say that, you know, but you can't say the N-word. Black people can say the N-word, but you can't. And I feel like it's the same rules apply to white actors that feel like it's okay to wear blackface. Because to me, it's like, where does that white actor's mind go to suddenly go, hey, I'm about to do something hilarious. I'm going to be in blackface. When you already know years and years, hundreds of years of racism that comes side to side with wearing blackface. So for me, it's like, bruh, come on, guys, come on. You already did it. You already know what it means. You already know what kind of negative backlash is going to be. So why then, therefore, do it? Why do it? You see what I'm saying? Why do it? There's only a few characters that I can see where black people were in whiteface that weren't making a parody of white people. And a perfect one, to be honest, a perfect one that I've really found a very respectful was Coming to America. Not once was he in that one making a parody of the little Jewish guy in the barbershop, or you see what I'm saying? The certain characters that he had in the movie that were characters, but they weren't a parody of a Jewish man. You know, it wasn't a parody of an Italian guy. It was just a guy in the barbershop having a conversation. He just happens to be white. So that's what I think. You know, I know that there's a lot of comments down below, so we're gonna get it going on these comments real quick because this is going, and I appreciate you guys commenting right now. All right, so I'm gonna go back as far as I can go. Let's see. Native Queen said on YouTube, thank you again, Native Queen. Hello. She says, if the person being impersonated never complained, why am I getting mad? That is true. Interesting. You know, that's a good point, too. That is a very good point, Native Queen. That's a very good point. Mike O'Brien on YouTube just commented. He said, not the same. The old blackface time, the actors did stereotypical African Americans, and that was wrong. There shouldn't be any issue with a white actor in blackface impersonating a black person. Huh. Okay. And that's fine, Mike. And that's totally fine. I feel like because of what you just said in the top of that comment, you said blackface, during the old blackface time, the actors did stereotypical African Americans. Yes. And that was wrong. Yes. Very, very true. But I feel like there's a stigma attached to blackface in general. So whenever somebody sees a white person doing blackface, there's all that baggage. There's all those hundreds of years of baggage coming along with it. So instead of them actually just seeing somebody do a performance of a person or an impersonation of a person, they're seeing the hundreds of years of stereotypical African-American trash impersonations. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. So I would love for it to be to a point where somebody white can do blackface, but actually do it in a non-racial way without it being done in some sort of way. That'd be amazing. But it also goes back to what Native Queen just said, which is, well, if Chris Rock wasn't tripping about it, why should we? And that's a very good point. Let's see. His people are going to make him apologize, and it will all be over and forgotten. And Maria, I think so too. I really do think so. You know what I mean? It's crazy. Papa G, it's crazy, man. You know what I mean? This is some crazy stuff. For sure, for sure.
I think honestly, because of the popularity, plus he's all around good guy. I mean, he's out there doing stuff all the time. So I think he's going to get the understanding of he was actually doing one of his, co-parts, his friend of his. He was actually a friend that was on SNL. So I don't know if he was doing it for, he did a good job of it.
Yeah,
did he have to? And I kind of understand what the comment, about, Chris Rock didn't complain about it. It was never brought up in a big way. I just think, I think overall, and I learned this late in my life, was what was blackface all about? And I think that's what it is too. I think a lot of people don't know the history. And I had to learn the history of that, I'm Puerto Rican from New York. I was born and raised in New York City, and I'm a New York Rican. So, but for me, it's kind of like it's not to the equivalent. So when I say the story real quick, it's not about, I'm comparing this to the N-word or anything else. But when we moved here about 13 years ago, over here in Southern Illinois, my son gets on the bus, on the yellow bus, for the first time. Because, in New York, you don't get on the yellow bus unless you have to. You know what I mean?
I feel you.
Back in the days in the city. But here, he gets on the bus, and so people are calling him, a wetback. And he comes home, and he tells me, hey, people on the bus were calling me a wetback. And I came out and said, well, you need to understand the meaning behind that. And also, when you go back there tomorrow, you need to let them know that you're not. You're Puerto Rican. So if they want to, disrespect you, call you a spick. That's what it was for us.
Right.
And I think the thing behind that is that to understand what the words mean and why so many people use these words, they have no idea what they're doing. They don't understand the history behind the word. They don't understand the history behind what they physically are doing. Remember the whole thing with Whoopi and Ted Danson?
Oh yeah, that's literally
kind of the big one.
Yeah, and that's literally what I've been playing over and over and over again in my head is the actual Ted Danson just showing up in blackface. And for me, those are the type of things where I'm like, yo, why? just por qué? Why? Why would you do that? But for me, I look at it as there's a lot of baggage behind blackface in general. So for one to be dressed up in blackface and not actually educating themselves about it and realizing you're about to get some backlash for this says something about the person who's actually doing the blackface. And so the fact that, some people are sitting here saying, oh, it's only, 20 years, who cares? That kind of thing. And I get that. Trust. I do get that. But at the same time, yes, there is something about it that I think that the general black community feels some type of way about it. That's why they're saying cancel Jimmy Fallon. I don't think he should get canceled, though. I don't think he should. Because like I said before, he did it 20 years ago, and if there wasn't somebody making a big deal about it then, why are they making a big deal about it now? And so that just is something that needs to be, stewed around and all that,
I agree. I definitely agree. You also got to go back to the situation with our comedian who, of course, we all know who he's talking about when he was supposed to be doing the Oscars. And because of something he said years ago, and he apologized years ago.
Didn't he, though?
He apologized about it years ago, and his stand was, yeah, I can apologize again and get the gig, but I apologize for it. How many more times you're going to have me apologize for something that I know I did wrong when I was back in the day, starting out, thought it was funny, blah, blah, blah. And it was wrong, and he knows it, and he apologized back then.
Yep.
And the thing was, they still hounded him that he needed to do it now. He needed to do it now again. He's like, no. People that know me know that's not me. And now I wonder if Jimmy did this a while back. Do we even know if Jimmy apologized a while back? Because I don't think this is the first time Jimmy realized it.
I don't think there was an apology at all back then. But I also think that he's thought that, hey, I'm doing a pretty solid Chris Rock impersonation.
Right.
This is not a parody of all black people. This is me just doing an impersonation of Chris Rock. So here we go. And I feel like he was like, I'm going to do it. Here we go. And if I get some backlash, I'll talk about it. I will address it head on. But at the same time, here we go.
I agree.
I'm going to go with God and just do this impersonation. And I feel like that's what he did, you know. But, of course, it's come back. It's getting some backlash. But like I said, I keep thinking, or I didn't say this, but this is what I keep thinking, that I feel like there's a lot of people out here that are, you know, we're all quarantined. We're all social distancing. We're all bored out of our minds. And therefore, we're trying to find things to dig up in a way. But at the same time, it is a good conversation piece for sure, for entertainment in general. You know, if it was one of the biggest white comedian actors out there impersonating a black man in a movie right now, there'd be a hell of a lot of backlash for sure. You know, imagine them trying to do Soul Man again. Do you remember that movie? Soul Man?
Do I want to?
No, you don't. It's a throwback. It's a hella throwback. But imagine, you know, them trying to put Jim Carrey, you know, I'm just trying to think, you know, that was low-hanging fruit of an actor. But, you know, Jim Carrey doing blackface. It depends on the character, and it depends on who's playing, you know, to be really honest. Let's see. More comments. Native Queen. 20 years ago, offended. Don't watch his show or give any attention. I never watched his show. And that's, you know, and here it is. Some people love Jimmy Fallon. Some people love the Tonight Show. And some people really, really can't stand it. So everybody has their, everyone has their opinions about the Tonight Show. Alex said Fallon wasn't disrespectful either. Yeah, I mean, from what I saw, he wasn't being disrespectful. He was just impersonating Chris Rock. He really was. He was just impersonating Chris Rock. Long story short, just impersonating him. You know, we giving energy to this. When they've always done this. Nothing new. Facts, Native Queen. Facts. Let's see. Jalen said because slavery is not something that should ever be used as comedy. True. That is very true. Mike said, can't explain it because it's a double standard. Oh, this is when I was sitting there trying to find a way to explain it. And he's right. What I was explaining was a double standard for sure. He said, can't explain it because it's a double standard that doesn't make logical stands. Hold yourself to the same standards you want others to hold for you. And that's very true, Mike. That's very true, Mike Eisenberg. Thank you so much for the comment. You are very, very right. I agree. Oh, Native Queen said something about you, Mang. Papa G. She says, I agree with Papa G. If you don't know history, you're bound to repeat it and repeat it and repeat it. And that's very, very true. And, you know, Papa G did have a good point. You know, he's dropping gems and bombs up in this piece, too. You know what I'm saying? Not only can he spin.
I can't read those comments, but I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. You know, not only can he spin those records, he can also drop some gems of knowledge. There we go. Yeah. So, and of course, we're going to have to figure that out for the next time, brother, so that we can have that patched in and everything. But anyway, okay. And yeah, somebody else, Mr. T12 said, let's see how this plays out. Kevin Hart, they tried to ruin him. That's very true. We did talk about that as well. They tried to ruin the dude. Ruin him. For what reason? Because he made a few tweets back in the day, and then he said, hey, my bad. I'm really, really sorry about that. And they never let it go. They never let it go. And he had to basically drop out and stop doing, he had to bow out and walk away from his dream hosting gig. Mm-hmm. All because of that, which is crazy. Let's see. What is that? Sean Cena, I think. Can we all not be human beings? It's so sad how we think. It's true. What about the show All in the Family? Jalen said. Yeah, that's very true. That was a popular show that had to deal with a bigot for a father, and him having to deal with the times, the change of times around him and his neighborhood and his kids and all that, and him having to deal with change. And they were just basically making fun of him being some bigoted prick, to be really honest.
And there's an episode, right? It was a famous episode of All in the Family with the Jeffersons involved, because that's how the Jeffersons started, was with the show All in the Family. And there was a time where the N-word was used.
Yep.
Nothing.
Yep.
And a lot of people are like surprised about that. Like, oh, we should stop watching that, or the reruns or whatever. And yeah, but I mean, back then that's what it was. There was no pressure about not using that word.
Right.
They thought it was just like part of the vocabulary.
That
which
is
sad.
That is very, very true. That also is very true. You know what I mean? But yeah, I had to shield my son from crap like that show. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, of course, there's going to be people that are going to feel, there's going to be people out there that are going to feel some type of way on multiple levels. Like I said, there are going to be people like Papa G that feel like, all right, he did a good job. It didn't seem too bad. And then there's going to be people out there that are going to be like, yo, that was offensive as all get out. Yo, and, for me, I'm on the fence. Personally, I'm on the fence. I feel like if it was something that was a long time ago, like I was shocked when I saw it. I was like, oh, whoa. When I saw the headlines, I'm like, oh, what is this? And I clicked on it and I'm like, okay, so he's impersonating Chris Rock. And the whole skit, I had to watch it a couple times because I was too busy looking at blackface. Does that make sense? I was too busy looking at the surround sound of blackface rather than actually listening to the actual words that were coming out of his mouth. So that's another thing. That took me a second to process because I was still going, whoa, he's in blackface, yo, damn. You see what I'm saying? But then once I started listening to what he was saying in the skit, Chris Rock's complaint is that there aren't enough black characters or enough black actors on SNL. That's why he's coming on and talking and being Chris Rock. You know what I mean? Or him impersonating Chris Rock. So then I was like, oh, I get it. Hence the reason why he is in blackface. That's the other part of the butt of the joke, if that makes any sense. There is no actor. They don't have enough black actors for them to cast a black actor to play Chris Rock. So they have Jimmy Fallon impersonate a black actor. Does that make sense? Do you see what I'm saying, Papa G?
Yeah, I agree. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. So I could see that. You know what I mean? I could see it. I see the joke, but like I said, when I first saw it, took me a minute to process. I had to play it a couple times because I was too busy going, oh, damn. Oh, my damn.
I'm wondering if Jimmy would have done that if he was playing someone like Jesse Jackson or Reverend Al, if he was playing someone like that, would he have done that knowing that it's wrong, but maybe this time he's doing it because he's, somebody because my understanding, they are like great friends.
Yeah.
So maybe he did that only because he was doing it. He was portraying his friend. Again, I'm not saying it's right.
Right.
But I'm saying Jimmy, I don't think Jimmy's ever done anything like that, portraying someone else. Well, we've seen it a lot. I think he was portraying a friend of his.
Right.
Saying, hey, this is why I was doing it. Now, again, I'm not apologizing for him or whatever, but I'm saying, I'm just wondering.
Right.
Doing it because he knows who he was doing. He knows a close friend of his because his close friend, they're still close friends from day one because I saw the background on them. But it's just, to me, that's what I'm thinking. I'm just thinking like, hey, someone wanted me to, portray Pascal,
Ooh.
I'm not that good looking like him, but I can do my job, do something. you know.
Right.
But I'm wondering. I'm just wondering if that was the case, because again, we've seen a lot of people do blackface or have tried to, and like you said before, you know, you had, you know, trying to be Oprah, you know, trying to even be Obama, trying to be, you know, all these characters, Reverend Al, I remember all of that. So I'm just wondering.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I really do think that it's one of those things where maybe Jimmy Fallon did hit up Chris Rock and said, hey, I'm about to impersonate you. I hope you're okay with it, and I hope I do it justice. It's not in any way, shape, or form. I don't know what the background story is. All I know is he probably walked in. They said, we got a skit where you're going to be impersonating Chris Rock because you do a pretty damn good, decent impersonation of him. So let's run with it. Let's see how it goes. Godspeed. And he was just kind of like, okay, well, wow, this is only crazy. Okay, wow, I'm playing okay. All right, cool. You know what I mean? Whatever, however he does. You know what I'm saying? And he just dove in, you know? Now, whether it was funny or not, that's up to you guys, you know? But for me, like I said, at the very, very face value, at front face value, all puns intended, I could not wrap my mind around the actual words and performance at first. But that's me. I was like, whoa, this dude is in blackface. Took me a minute to really hear the context and see what was going on in the skit, you know? But then, like I said before in the beginning, it's comedy. It's always going to be trivial. People are going to agree with how Dave Chappelle says a joke in a recent stand-up, or how somebody says a joke in a tweet, you know? And I think back then, let's just say, just in defense of those times, I feel like things weren't as sensitive when, let's say, he was in blackface on SNL. I would think. I mean, I haven't done a deep dive to see if during that time he was getting backlash in the newspapers for impersonating Chris Rock. But I would think that during those times, it was a little bit not as heavy as it is right now, right? Now, if this happened now, different story. You know, it's like Robert Downey Jr. You know, I'm the dude disguised as the dude, acting like another dude. Like, he got in a lot of backlash for that too, and it's like, bruh, okay. And I thought he did a damn good job in Tropic Thunder. I thought he was great. Now he's getting backlash for it now. Like right now. So, like I said, see what I'm saying? Like the Chris Rock impersonation, I'm like, oh boy. But the Robert Downey Jr. one, I was okay with. I embraced it. I was okay with it. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it's a tough one. It's a really tough one, man. There's many ways you can fry this egg, my brother. Many ways. You know what I'm saying? So, and Alec just commented below and said, Downey was hilarious. Yeah. That whole movie was hilarious. You know? And the whole purpose was to show these people who are just terrible. Absolutely horrendous human beings. And they did a really great job at being just jerks. But at the same time, it's like, all right, that's one thing. And then in the context of a skit, you know? So anyway, obviously I'm still processing everything in my own head. You know, before I even started the show, I'm going, okay, I've got to think about this the right way. What is the right approach? And on some real stuff, man, at first I wasn't cool with it. But his impersonation wasn't so bad. So, yeah. There you go.
Tom Hanks, Forrest Gump. Slow, yes, retarded, make these braces on his bed, but he trying to pants up next to him on a ping pong competition. That ain't retarded. He was a goddamn war hero. You know any retarded war heroes?
You brought it up. I had a clip of it. Anyway,
absolutely. So. I love it. Thank you. Thank you. I love it. And Native Queen, yes, I guess intent is the key. Absolutely. Absolutely. I 110% agree with all of you guys. That's what I mean by that's why I'm trying to work it out with all you guys. You see what I'm saying? That's why I'm talking it out with you all. You know, I mean, honestly, it's not that serious. I don't live his life, and he's making millions of dollars, and he's still going to keep making millions of dollars. He going to be all right. You know what I'm saying? He going to be all right. But there is also that part where I'm like, okay, we're all trying to process this together. We're all trying to talk it out together, because honestly, bruh, like, how do you take that? How do you fully embrace this situation in a diplomatic and thought out way? Because there's so many different levels to it, you know? When to use the N-word, when not to use the N-word, when's the right time to use blackface, when not to use blackface, when is it fair, when is it not fair? You see what I'm saying? There's so many levels of stuff. To kill or not to kill. You see what I'm saying? Like, you feel me? You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm not trying to say kill people. I ain't saying that. Hold up. Hold up. I'm just saying.
With that now. Don't get me involved now.
You'll be like, I deny everything.
I'm trying to come back to the show, okay? Don't be trying to get out already.
You're like, I deny everything. Whatever he just said, I wasn't a part of. I was not even on screen. Did you see that? I was not even on screen. But that's the thing. It's a thing that we all have to work out. And that's why we have this show. That's why we have this platform. And that's why this is created, so we can talk things out, whether to agree or not to agree. A lot of times I'm probably going to say something that's ignorant as all get out. 95, 99, 100% of the time I'm going to say something that's ignorant as all get out. That's an actual fact. So, you know, I have you incredibly smart individuals and Papa G over here to help me out. Yeah, well, you know, I call you smart for a reason. You know what I mean? It's all rhetoric. You know, we already know you dumb as hell. But moving on. So we're all here to talk about things and work things out and try to make sense of things that are going on in the world. And of course, you know, talking about that and just seeing what you guys think on it. You know, what your personal thoughts are on it. Mike Eisenberg said, if Fallon was qualified for the job of impersonating Rock, why have an issue with it? He sounded like Rock. Rock is black. So wouldn't it make sense to place makeup on him to look like Rock? You know, and Mike Eisenberg, you are absolutely right. You totally have a point. Like I said, I think that they did that. I would assume that they looked into it with a fine-tooth comb and said, are we being disrespectful? Ted Danson was being disrespectful. Jimmy Fallon, I don't think so much. But like I said, I'm still on the fence. Personally. I hate to be that guy, but I am gonna be that guy.
You gonna be that guy?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still on the man. I mean, we could talk about it till we're dead till we're dead. We can talk about this till we're blue in the face. But honestly, like, I'm just still processing it too, because I'm watching it and I'm going, okay, I feel some type of way. When I saw it right off the bat, I was like, ooh, I felt some type of way. But then again, I feel hypocritical because I was okay with it with Robert Downey Jr. being in blackface. So it's just a lot to process. It's something to process, you know? Because I think about the stereotypical blackface. I think about the times that we were the butt of the joke, you know? And it's, like I said, just tough. It's tough to wrap your mind around it fully. But if he's apologized and everybody's okay with it, you know what I'm saying, then it is what it is. Antonio said, I think what sets Downey apart is that he was impersonating a socially insensitive person in blackface, whereas the other celebrities are impersonating people themselves. You know what? That's actually a very good point. That's a very, very good point. Solid point, Antonio. Good job. Look at the brain on Brad. That's a good one, though. Real talk. That's an actually good one. a person's life experiences determines the outcome. Everyone isn't going to agree. That's us being human. Jalen, that's very, very true. That's very, very true as well. You know, they reference his blackface throughout the entire movie. That's actually very, very true as well, Alec. Yeah, very, very true. So, you know, like I said, I appreciate everybody who tuned in and was commenting and all that. You know, unfortunately, we gotta wrap up the show and everything. But of course, like I always say, if this is your first time checking out this show, please go hit that like button on our Facebook page. And please, if you're watching here and you're, you know, part of the YouTube squad, YouTube clan, please go and crush that subscribe button. We do our shows Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. And also, I do this show, this other one right here, at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. So, obviously, I do a lot of other pop-up videos from time to time, especially when there's, you know, brand new news that's coming out or something that's worth having a conversation about, the whole nine. Papa G, thank you so much for being on today. Let everybody know where they can find you, though. Real talk.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for having me. You know, I'm here anytime you need me. I'm Big Papa G, and it's www.bigpapag.com. I'm on Facebook, on DJ Big Papa G, and I am I'm always out here trying to do whatever I can to help out in the community. I got my Feed Our Heroes campaign going on, so we're taking care of that. You know, always blessing all of those, our frontline workers too. So we want to thank them also, and of course, big ups to all my people over in New York City and in Puerto Rico. That's right. That's right.
Yeah, I love it. Puerto Rico. Anyway.
Let it sink back in the ocean. Oh, I gotta stop.
There we go. We're about to get in some trouble.
That was my West Side Story. You know, when I was there. I feel pretty.
Oh, dear God, don't do that to us. Don't do that to us right now. Anyway, we're about to break into West Side Story and stuff. When you're a jet all the way.
Your first cigarette to your last dying day.
Oh, I'm done.
You know, we're going to close out the show with that song, right?
Why not? Why not? Why not? Anyway, so real quick, I just wanted to say, be sure to come in, be a part of the show. The part of the conversation. Our morning shows are pretty packed with a lot of information, a lot of things that are going on. We got a lot of great interviews and conversations that go on at that time, so be sure to tune in. And of course, our 7 p.m. show is a little bit more laid back, but we also talk about the other breaking news that we missed in the morning show and all of that. So you got some tunes for us real quick while I sign off?
Yeah.
When you're a jet, you're a jet.
Oh, dear God.
First cigarette to your last dying day.
Okay. I was hoping something a little bit more manly, but it's okay. No, I'm just kidding. West Side Story is just fine. Hey. There we go. So, anyway, we got to get going. But anyway, thank you guys so much for tuning in. And like I said, please hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell just in case if you forget when we go live. And I also do upload videos very randomly throughout the week, so be on the lookout for those. Anyway, it's time to get going. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. And I will see you guys in the next video. Much love to you guys. See you tomorrow morning. Bye.
Sex, money, power, respect. All of us have in this community. All the good people different to me.
Take up in glass.
The festival is crazy in the streets. Deception, the fakers and leaks. Entertainers and trucking for tweakers and losing their self because their loves are unique. All of us under surveillance. We wasn't feeling they made it. Half of them stumbling around and they faded. They live in the world that's degraded for people that's constantly hated.
But you see how he makes these S's in his body right here? That's where he's hanging on, and then he's moving forward with the locomotion of his ribs. That is classic Missouri rat snake right there. I mean, so I'm gonna go ahead and grab him before he gets into a hole. Now, these snakes are not biters. They won't bite as long as you don't squeeze them. If you just stop them like this, it'll freeze them, and then you just gently pull them back. As long as you don't squeeze them, they won't bite.
Yo, Mike, what's up, man?
Guy? Good to see you, man.
Yeah, so Sugar Fire.
Yeah.
Fully open, right?
Yeah, we're pretty much open. So you can't sit inside yet. Monday you can sit inside a little bit. We'll have 25% of the tables inside, and then we're letting it rip outside.
So I know that there's a lot of people really concerned about staying safe and all of that.
No,
so what are you guys doing in regards to that?
Well, and we have extra people to clean and rub everything down all the time. Everybody inside's wearing masks. And we have those little stickers on the ground so everyone can stay 6 feet apart.
Right on.
The tables are all spaced out, inside and outside.
Sugar Fire, open in full effect right now. They're staying healthy, they're staying clean. Go get you a rack of ribs. Sugar Fire, open right now.
Thanks.
The Fur and Leather Center, providing the highest of fur and leather goods.
You're gonna perform tonight. I can't make this interview boring because this man is too exciting as a host. And I'm truly saying this, and if y'all can't do this, me and this man here is gonna leave and go somewhere else where we can get some love. I want everyone in the building to say, I love Pascal on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Wow.